last name when I said it, Ankrom, that it was.
All right, so it looks like we're live on Facebook. Hello, Labs people. Like, so today we're bringing a very special person to join us today, Karlyn from Oh Snap. And all I'm saying is you need to be listening to what we're going to be talking about today, because it's all about social media. And Karlyn is a very special person with a very special business. So Karlyn, welcome. Before we even go anywhere, I want to introduce you to my partners, Drew Swirsky. He is the owner operator of the Elite Real Estate Group. And then we have Tyler Holloway. He is the lead in our productivity coaching programs called PC United. And yours truly here, Eric Quadros. I am part of MAPS Business Coaching, a business coach, and we are happy to have you here. Welcome,
Yes,
Karlyn.
thank you for having me.
So it's good that we have you here. And you know what? We're just going to start about talking a little bit about Oh Snap. Like, how did you come about with that name? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
So coming up with Oh Snap Social, I definitely wanted something that was my energy level and SaaS level. And I also really like alliteration. So most things that I name have like that alliteration to it. And it really just came from finding what was available from a URL standpoint, channel standpoint. And I think that's just something that I really like to do, is naming brands and companies. Even naming my friends like Airbnb houses. Like I do that a lot too, randomly. Fun fact. But yeah, naming is something that I've always liked, and branding is something that I've always liked to do too. Yeah.
Outstanding. So we all know that we're now in a position in our lives where a physical engagement is definitely limited to little to nothing, right? Because we all have to social distance because we want to stay healthy. So this is a perfect opportunity for you and your business to thrive. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you're doing as a business to really meet your clients in the front line of their business and enhance their digital twin.
Yeah. So, being that a lot of my business, clientele is local businesses that often aren't online. So I've built a lot of my business out and about, physically meeting people in coffee shops, going to networking events. And I've even transformed how I've grown my business as well, doubling down on social media. I was already leveraging it, but a lot of my clients aren't there. And now they are kind of more or less forced to be there. So making sure that they are staying relevant, staying top of mind, especially those brick and mortar businesses that, have had to close, or they're the curbside pickup. Just keeping your customers informed of what's going on right now is like key, absolutely key. And if you aren't doing that, you're missing a huge, huge, huge opportunity right now to take the eyeballs, which are on social media in very different capacities, all over the different platforms, and really focus in on who you want to reach, how you want to reach them. And to be honest, stop overthinking it.
Yeah, absolutely. How many people do we know, guys, that are constantly overthinking everything they do? Sometimes you just got to be completely honest and just go out there, go on video, go on social media, and just tell your story.
Yeah, just got to show up.
People don't want perfection either. They just want somebody that's honest about what they do, right?
Mm-hmm. Because people can see right through that perfectionism.
Yep, I agree 100%.
It doesn't feel real.
Which I love it, which brings us to the next thing, which we've already touched on it a little bit. I'm really excited to have you here because sometimes people, they're just not authentic when they get in front of a screen, right? They can do it in person. They're super personable. They're great people. They're funny. They're energetic. What would you say to someone who is getting into social media? And what would you say about authenticity?
Yeah, so first of all, I have a love-hate relationship with the word authenticity.
I recently got someone with virtual too. They're like, I don't like virtual. Virtual's not a good word. So
I don't know what else you would call it, to be honest, but I think because it was so overused for so many years in my space that everyone was like, oh, be authentic, be your authentic self, like live your authentic life. And okay, cool. Like, let's be authentic. But I like being real, I like being authentic. I think that translates really well, especially over video. And I think people are used to that commercial side of, being overly curated, overly like, I'm a business person. Let me talk like a business person. And I want them to be comfortable in front of the camera and know that it doesn't happen right away. I think that's key. And the only way you get better is to just, in the words of someone that I love in my space, Brian Fanzo, just push the damn button. Like, press record and go. I think the most forgiving space to try that right now is Instagram stories, because they only last for 24 hours. Just share what you're doing today. If you don't have anything crazy to say, just share it with your audience and be like, here's my to-do list for today, da 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 da. Like, here's me at my computer recording the Zoom. Like, those types of things will help you get more comfortable, and it happens over time. Just like anything on social media, long-term game, be patient with yourself, give yourself some grace, and just press the damn button.
I love that. That's such a great mentality to have, right? Because we see it in the day to day. It's like, well, I feel comfortable, but my camera, I'm not gonna look. I don't like myself in camera. Well, don't look at yourself. Just stare at the camera. Don't watch the video. Just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, and you're able to just tell your story, right?
Exactly.
So that's great.
Yep.
Drew, man, I see you, man. I see you. I know you got something.
So for those watching at home and the millions in attendance, what exactly do you do?
What do I do? So I am a social media strategist and content creator, with a side of trainer and educator, especially from the local business perspective. So crafting comprehensive strategies that align ultimately with business goals, I think, is huge and often a missed piece for business owners in general, small or large, because they think social media is just the concept of creating the content, pushing it out. Will this work? Let's push it out. And then they even never take the time to kind of come out the other side of it and actually measure what matters as it pertains to their goals. So I create, first I do put the stake in the ground, do the pulse check, making sure, like, pop the hood, see what's going on, what's working, what's not working, and then crafting that strategy that aligns with the goals, and then implementing the content, creating the content, implementing it, managing the community if that needs managed, and then doing the analytics, and then rinse, repeat. It's very cyclical.
That sounds so familiar to something we talk about in our company, which is called GPS, which is goals, priorities, and strategies around the things that people want to accomplish. Yep. And it's just really meeting your client in the front line of their business, analyzing where they're at and where they want to go, and then finding a pathway or blueprint that you both can work on together to get them there. And I think social media is a huge part of that. So probably a very exciting part of what you do.
Yeah, and I think it's, from the strategy piece too, is it has to be customized, to your point with mapping that blueprint. It has to be super customized for that particular client, because just because one thing worked for this client over here doesn't mean that's going to work for this one over here. Because they're like, can't you just tell me what works? I'm like, well, I can show you what the data has told me, what works across multiple industries, but until we actually go in and do the content creation and putting it out there into the world and measuring, we're not going to know. So the more you press pause, the less stuff the less results you create. So press the dang button.
Hey, so what are some of the most unique businesses that you're working with right now? I know that you love working with small business owners. So tell us some unique experiences and without actually sharing the names of the businesses.
Yeah.
Some of the unique things that you've seen.
So floral designer out in Leesburg has a very, very, she's like I don't even know if she calls herself this, but she's like the mother of floral design, like the OG. And she has a lot of fandom around her that are not just like brides and event planners, but like other floral designers that like want to be her. And she has a really, really engaged audience. And we worked with her to get to relaunch her educational course that she relaunched in April of last year. And she hired us to do it in October. And we ran campaigns. And what we found, the data tells everything, right? So measuring the marketing campaign there and the Facebook ad campaign, Instagram campaign, even though her Instagram is very engaged audience, like commenting, liking, sharing, all the things, her Facebook audience were the ones that actually were buying. You need to pay attention to these people more, because you will sell more over here, and because it's higher conversion over here. But she would have thought the opposite. So even though the strategy that we outlined was allocated, certain resources here, certain resources there, We then learned halfway through we had to pivot the strategy because what the data was telling us. So that's why I always say, like, your assumptions can be spot on, but at the same time, they could be 100% wrong. So if you're not taking the time to measure, you could be missing out on not just engagements and likes and all of that, but like actual money in your bank account. So, yeah.
That is awesome. I can imagine. Like, I gotta look that up. Like flower design, and I mean, I would think that everything would be organic, right? Because I mean, mostly unless she's shipping flowers somewhere else, most of her business is local business, correct?
Yeah, but she's like the kind that like gets to fly all over the world and design like amazing installs and stuff.
That's very cool.
And like she's a big educator. That's
Okay.
like another whole side of her business is educating like other floral designers to like run a floral design business.
Outstanding, outstanding.
Yep.
Ty, you got anything?
So that's fantastic. I have to ask, right? I was going through your Facebook page and I was looking at stuff. How did you get into this? Because not everybody grows up and is like, I want to get into social media analytics and help businesses figure out which platform they should be on and what they should be doing. So how'd you get into it?
So I love writing. I've loved writing since I was like 10 years old. I was like the kid that would fill up the composition book with my 10-year-old thoughts and like tape in napkins from restaurants. Like that was 100% me, just journaling my thoughts, which is weird, but kind of cool, I guess. I have no idea where those are, so I need to get on my mom if she's watching. I'm sure she's watching. I need to find those. Anyway, I went to school for journalism, so kind of that writing passion carried me through. And I remember sitting in my news writing class, and the professor went around asking everyone what they wanted to be. Like, after all your degree, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to be a news writer. Everyone's like magazine editor for Cosmo, or like, all these like when magazines were like actually relevant. And I was like, I don't really know. And I think my professor was a little appalled, but it wasn't until I think my second semester senior year, I took a web communications class. And this was just as Web 2.0 was becoming a thing. And, online newsrooms were happening for these larger corporations. So journalists could grab that content instead of waiting for like the PR to get pushed out to them, they could go and grab it. And that's when I realized social media for companies was becoming more of a trend, more of something that was attainable. So that's when I was like, and being that my alma mater set me up for success in all the capacities, I had a lot of transferable skills that allowed me to kind of propel into the digital communication side of thing that kind of then eventually tapered into social media solely. So
That's great. And so you've been doing it a while then. So what would you say? And obviously, your industry in particular has gone through a ton of changes, right? I talk to my kids and they're like, what's a CD? What's a floppy disk, right? Dial up internet. Why does it make that noise? So for you and all of that changes, what are some of the biggest things that you've learned about managing change just with yourself and your business?
yeah, a big example of that was even just like COVID-19 happening, right? Like, content that I had planned for the all of March had to pivot entirely. So what was relevant was now tone deaf. So from a content perspective, that had to completely shift. So that's one side of it. But in terms of the technicality side, I think something that I've seen just be absolutely crushing it, and I still don't know why companies don't do more of it, is video. Like it's, like, what is that emoji girl where she's like, like, like that's something that people, and again, it goes to our earlier point, right? It was just people are so unsure and like, will I be judged? And, all of that. I think that's a natural reaction, but at some point you have to put your purpose and your solution above everything of how you can help people. And if, by not pressing the button, by not showing up, you're not helping people that you with your talent, gift, solution, whatever it is. So you just have to kind of frame it like that instead of being like, I'm feeling nervous that they're going to judge me. It's like you have a duty to share what your passion is, your solution, etc. So more video.
more video. Write that down, more video. And that's for everyone. We can, like, you could tell people to do video until you turn green, and they're still not going to do it. No. And we'll say it again, do video. Now, so who's your ideal client? Like, you know, on Snap, who are you looking to do business with?
This question is always so hard.
Because I want, like, really, the whole point is really to dive deep into your mind and really bring everything out that you need to share with the world so they see how awesome you can be.
Let's see. I think it's kind of, there's different tiers and different levels of the folks that I like to work with. One, like you mentioned, small businesses that have been in business for, you know, at least 5 years, that understand, you know, the importance of marketing, and the importance of how social media can play a role in their overall marketing strategy. Like, they're not like, and I just want to do social media and nothing else. I think social media is a great supplement to all the things that they're doing, but it can't be the end all be all, just like, you know, you can't always respond back and forth via an email if you're trying to make a sale. Like, you have to pick up the phone, you have to meet somebody. So small, medium-sized businesses that have been in business for at least 5 years. I think middle of the road, national-based companies that need kind of that third pair of eyes, second pair of eyes, I don't know what the cliche, to be, you know, their consultant. They're like, hey, can you check out what we're doing? Does the strategy make sense? And then offer kind of a content session, I think is also great. And then I'm really looking for, this is what I'm trying to really grow this year in particular, is like keystone clients, larger corporations, that maybe have a marketing team, but they don't have a social media expert on their team, to really make some power moves when it comes to their social media that they're doing. Because what they're doing just seems like halfway done, or it's like, we'll get to it when we can, we're doubling down here. But they also understand, especially right now, a lot of people are online and they're missing the boat a lot of the time. So that's kind of the 3 tiers.
I mean, I completely see what you're saying, and the whole thought is you're not going to be able to do it unless you're doing it virtually, right? So,
well, and,
that's really...
and then another, and then one more thing is, like, you know, maybe a company that maybe can't hire a full-time person because of health benefits, but want still that extra help.
All right, write it all down, making sure. No, we just want to make sure we help as best as we can. And all right, so a little shift. What is the one thing that you enjoy most about what you do?
I love creating content that converts. I love it.
It has to be interesting, right? I mean, the cool thing is that you went to school for that, right? You could write content. But most of us can't write, and that's okay. And that's why we always leverage ourselves with people that can write, so that we can then have a great product.
We can write, we just can't spell, Eric.
There you go. There you go. So the interesting thing is that as you're writing content for the businesses that you work with, you have to shift. So, like, how do you do that? I mean, you have to be very flexible, and at the same time, you have to be growth minded, because you do have to learn a lot about companies before you embrace them and you help them grow. So tell us a little bit about that.
I think because of my journalism background, I just have an innate curiosity in general. You know, I ask a lot of questions, which might be not awesome for some people.
That is awesome. What are you talking about?
But I like to dive deeper into the brand story too. Like, similar to how you asked the question of, like, how did I even get started? Like, I ask all those questions in my discovery calls, because if I don't know that, and I need to do it this way on, like, a video Zoom kind of platform if I'm not in person, because mannerisms tell me a lot. All those interpersonal, like, I mean, I'm a hand talker, obviously. I'm like,
it's not a bad thing.
Orchestra right now. But that's, for me, like, that's how I get to know the voice, the tonality, and how I can mimic that. If that is the voice, if you're the CEO and, like, that's who I'm mimicking from a tonality standpoint, voice standpoint over on social, then I need to make sure that that's clear. Because the worst thing you could do is have, a website have one tone and then totally throw people way off on social media. Like, oh, So making sure that that tonality is all there, I think is one of my favorite parts, is just digging into the business, understanding their pain points, their clients' pain points. And I can actually, credit to this like flexibility piece to my agency background of, before I, stepped in full time for OSNAP Social, it was a lot of that agency work that prepped me for that as well.
Awesome. Drew, go ahead, man. I see you leaning towards the mic, so that's a sign for us. When you lean towards the mic, that means you have a question.
I just got some humans making background noise, so you got to forgive me. I am at home. What if you had an opportunity to work with one major company and be in charge of their social media platform? Which would it be? I mean, I know sometimes maybe you look at something they do and you're like, I would have done it better this way, right? Or I would have done it. I could have changed.
Yeah, that's a great question.
You never know who's listening, so.
Ugh.
This is like Genie in a bottle. And Ty, you're muted.
It's probably the business lab that she'd like to work for. And she's probably watched all our videos and gone, what are those guys doing? That's not how you do it. That's crazy.
You're fine. You're doing video though. Hey,
yeah,
hey,
you're
doing video, which is more than most people can say in general. That is a great question. I think a lot of the social brands I'm really liking are like Goop. That it's a, cosmetic company. I think they're really leveraging social media in a really smart way. I would love to be part of their team, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because I think I could elevate what they're already doing. I think co-working companies which are in a struggle bus right now. They have like a one-way ticket, unfortunately. I really like working with them because I like that they're building a community of like-minded people, and you can cultivate that community online. And I'm not really seeing a ton of that happening. One local-based co-working space is doing a really good job doing that right now. So that's been really refreshing to see. But I think the larger brands in that space need to be doing a little bit more.
Yeah, the lab is doing it too from time to time.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, so we right now in a part of the interview when we're going to a session we call rapid fire. And these are questions that just come at you and you have first thing that comes to mind. You have to spit it right out. Ready? And I promise you that they're great questions. So,
okay.
Drew, shoot.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire. What's your favorite quarantine meal so far?
Chicken and dumplings in the crock pot.
Oh boy, I'm hungry. What's the one snack food you've eaten the most during the quarantine?
Oreos?
Oh boy, that's a good thing.
What's your first social media platform you were on?
Facebook, when you had to have a .edu email address.
You didn't have MySpace?
Oh, I did. That's how I learned to code a little bit.
That's where I met my wife, was on MySpace.
Really?
Yeah.
I met my husband on Tinder.
Oh goodness.
Fun fact.
Okay, you got the better story, but we can't tell that story right now. Okay.
I met my wife on Staples buying office supplies. So here we go.
Mine was my realtor. Favorite all-time social media platform?
I love Instagram.
Instagram. All right. And on social media, which famous person is the most fun to watch or most the best follow?
See, I follow like internet, like online entrepreneurs. I don't follow any celebrities. Really.
That's okay. We'll take anything.
Nicole Walters, she's my favorite online entrepreneur because she's sassy and fabulous and hilarious and super smart.
Very
Sorry about that background noise. Thank you very much for participating in the rapid fire. That was awesome.
Thank you. That was fun.
So Karlyn, so before we go, we want our audience to really know where they can find you. If they want to work with you and they want to really get in the game by saying, oh, snap, I got to get this done. That's right. Where do they find you? osnapsocial.com is my website. I have a free Facebook group called the OSNAP Social Club that I just jump in there and do some free trainings and education. And if you want all the behind the scenes stuff, OSNAP Social Karlyn on Instagram. That is awesome. I'm glad everybody took it down. You're headed here at the lab. And since you came to us today and you shared your time with us, we want to cordially invite you to share like those things that you're doing on OSNAP. You can share with our community as well. When you come on and share it on our page, and we'll love to continue to help your business grow. And we're probably going to have some offline conversations about how we can work together, because I think you're doing some cool things. So thank you for being here.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I want to thank you on behalf of my partner, Bruce Swirsky, which happens to be the lead in Elite Real Estate Group, Tyler Holloway leading the way in PC United Productivity Coaching Program, and yours truly here, Eric Quadras with Map Business Coaching. Thank you, Karlyn. And we hope the OSNAP and your business continues to grow for years to come. And we'll see you soon.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.
Oh, snap.